They've moved up or down the field since their starting point, so good for both the 17 and 7 cars, but Bernhard will be in the pits at the end of this lap. Another break, we'll be back on Eurosport as things hot up. You're on Eurosport. Mark Cole and Jeremy Shaw here together with Damien Faulkner. We're now 2.5 hours into this race. That's a Grand Prix and a half. And Jeremy, we've hardly started racing here.
No, that's right. Things just beginning to settle down a little bit now, aren't they? But we've got the Andre Lotterer now will be well out in front as a result of this latest round of pit stops, because the Audi did not change tyres and the Porsches, the pursuing Porsches, did. And that pit stop, that changing of the tyres, it takes about 20 seconds that you can save on pit lane. As we talked about it before, pit stop rules are in the World Endurance Championship and here at Le Mans. When you're refueling the car, that's all you can do other than changing the driver or cleaning the windshield or other cosmetic things like that. You're not allowed to do any work on the car. That includes changing tyres. So if you do want to change tyres, you've got to do that afterwards. It takes about an extra 20 seconds. The last relative pit stops for the 2 leaders. Andre Lotterer's stop for fuel only. That's the time from coming into the pit lane to the time he leaves is 56 seconds. So that's not the actual time it's stationary. That's when it comes into pit lane and to when it leaves pit lane. The times for the Porsches, 1 minute 12 seconds and 1 minute 13 for the other Porsche. So that's the difference now. And all of a sudden, Andre Lotterer has a lead of almost a half a minute over the Porsches. But we'll see now over the next few laps what their relative pace. Box this lap for car number 7. That's not right. That's not right. The car was only in about 3 laps ago.
Yeah, she said full service. That's tyres.
Yeah, that is tyres. And I was just about to say, before Leader Gade came on the phone there on the radio to Andre Lotterer, that his last couple of laps have been 23s. He was turning 20s and 21s before that. So I fancy they've decided that they should have changed that.
Overstretched themselves, perhaps.
Yeah, quadruple stint at this stage in the race, perhaps not the right call. So is that a slight strategic error from the Audi team? We'll see. It certainly won't be very costly, because the Porsche in its 3rd stint on these tyres, and when I say a stint, for those of you not regular motor racing watchers, a stint would be the time spent between between pit stops. So one stint is the time from one pit stop to the next.
Basically a full tank of fuel.
Exactly. Each time they burn through a tank of fuel.
And if they're going to change tyres, they might as well change drivers at the same time, mightn't they?
Yes. Yes. But they kind of cut their losses here, I think.
Yep.
And so it'll be interesting to see now what the other
Benoit gets in. Great job Andre's done. Started fourth, put the car up into first, and kept it there most of the afternoon.
So this will be all really valuable information that the engineers will gather from this now in the tyre wear that they've just had to bring that forward into this race. But also, I wonder, did they change tyre compound? I don't think we're to know, because there's no obvious tyre markings.
Where's he going to rejoin, Jeremy? This is the important thing, isn't it? It's dropping down the order at the moment.
Yeah, he'll be 7th or 8th, I would think, by the time he comes out of it.
Just ahead of the Toyota of Ant Davidson.
Pit stop 1 minute 03 there, hands over the car to Benoit Trullier, and the reason that was 10 seconds quicker than the Porsche stop changing tyres is that they put very little fuel aboard that Audi, because they'd only been in 3 laps earlier.
But as you
there could well have been a puncture or something though on that car. Then we'll maybe find that out, because it's unlike them to make that call that soon into a stint.
3 laps, as you said.
3 laps. So I would
make a mistake.
They have full telemetry on these cars, which will beam back the information from the car real time to the pit lane. So if they could, amongst the many systems and monitored on the cars, of course, is tyre pressures. So if they could see that one tyre was going down in pressure a little bit, they will bring that car in as quickly as they can. I fancy that is the most likely reason.
So Benoit Trullier now 38 seconds behind leader Brendan Hartley, who's on his 42nd lap. Sarrazin and Davidson behind in the 2 Toyotas. And talking of Toyota, didn't mention it earlier, we saw Alex Wurz having a spin under the safety car, and Alex saying yesterday he will consider his future after this race, whether he wants to go on or not. He's already a 2 times winner. Does he want to do it again?
I'm sure he wants to win it again, but making an announcement like that is slightly loaded, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something coming.
Means you're starting to think about things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not. Don't look at me like that, Mark. I'm still racing.
Bit of a crowded. Look at this replay. What a crowded track here, and the 19 car of Nick Tandy
completely off the road.
Yeah, that's exactly what they really don't want to do, because there's so much debris in there, and that's really easily. The trouble is he had pick up a puncture or something.
He had a GT, which the Nissan, which is a lot slower than him, was in the middle of passing, and then what do you do? Just slam on everything?
No, you just have to do what you have to do.
Patient,
but it's not really ideal to go that far off. And I mean, he actually just rubbed the grass there as well. But hopefully there'll be no repercussions.
Last lap around for this car, car number 19, Nick Tandy, with whom we are now on board with a 3:19.7. So again, we're down in lap record territory. That new fastest lap of the race was set by Andre Lotterer about 6 laps ago, a 3 minutes 18.86 and a 3 minutes 19.7 there by Nick Tandy. We're hearing a note from the pit lane. There indeed was a puncture on car number 7.
Well called, Jeremy.
Yeah, well, thought about it a little bit after my initial comments, but certainly, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what lap times the other Audis can do on this 4th stint with those tyres. Loic Duval last time around a 3 minutes 23. Brendan Hartley has his first flying lap, also a 3 minutes 23 in number 17 Porsche, is back in the lead of this race. So Brendan Hartley, the Kiwi, taking over from Timo Bernhardt.
Of course, these guys are seeing a lot of traffic as well. You can see them trying to negotiate that traffic, and we're back on board with the number 19 Nick Tandy just out of Tetra Rouge. Lovely shot there.
Well, Hartley's got himself a very handsome lead at the moment, 13 seconds, as big as it's been the whole day. And there are our 4 category leaders, Hartley, Lapierre, Nicky Tim and Jeroen Bleekemolen. And how great, we were talking about the Viper early on, Jeroen keeping that car out front there. And that,
yeah, I don't think they've got just the speed of the Aston Martin, but they're going to be thereabouts. They're obviously hoping that they would be a little bit better in race pace, and maybe something that would happen to the Aston, who knows. But yeah, they just didn't have the speed. But I'll tell you, that team is really well run, and it's like a factory effort.
And we're watching here, this is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th, the Audi, and here comes the Porsche. That Porsche is Nick Tandy. Lloyd Duval and Marco Bononomi there. The Audi's 8 and 9, and then Nick Tandy. Let's go down to the pit lane and hear from a former leader.
You put an incredible effort since the beginning of the race. What was the reason for your second stop?
Yeah, when I started my 4th stint, everything was going well, but then in the second lap we discovered a puncture. Apparently it's a hole in the tire, so the deflation was going very fast, and we had to come back to the pits and change the tires. It's a shame because we lost time on the track, and we had to do 2 pit stops in a row. So yeah, we have to fight back, and that's racing at the moment.
How are the conditions out there? Are you quite satisfied with the setup
It was difficult because it was quite hot, and our tires were on the limit of the drivability, but we managed to control it, and the car started to get a bit faster now with the temperatures dropping, so I was quite happy and having a good rhythm, so hopefully it keeps going like that so we can recover.
Well, thank you, Adelaide. Talking there with Andre Lotter, in case you couldn't hear that, it was a bit faint, certainly in my headsets, and just saying, confirming there they had a puncture just 3 laps into that stint, so really had no option but to bring that car onto pit lane.
Great onboard shot here with Nick Tandy. How fast those Porsche curves are, unbelievable. That double left now, a right, follow the grass all the way around. He's got a P2 car in front of him. He's going to have to back off a little to get around it.
Yeah, it's going to.
He's already past it. Such is the difference in speed.
Now, attention's been drawn in GT Pro to Giancarlo Fisichella. Apparently has been the model of consistency this afternoon. His lap time's been just absolutely unchanging, and he's behind Nicky Tim, Richie Stanaway, and those 3 cars leading GT Pro. They're covered by, what, 8 seconds, and that hasn't, it's just staying like that. This is a real train again, and problem is, those cars racing in a bunch, every time something faster comes up, tends to break up their rhythm for a moment. But Fisichella, the man who was dropped for a while because he was being inconsistent, has been super consistent today.
Well, a lot of it's, you know, traffic management as much as anything else, really. I mean, there's just constant traffic all the time, whether you're a P1 or a GT or an LMP2, it doesn't really matter. There's just constant traffic, so you've got to manage that well. You've got to predict it. Both of those prototypes, Nick Tandy there, run wide at the exit of Tête Rouge, passing another car, and he's free again. But it'll not be long until he catches someone else.
But going back to Giancarlo Fisichella, of course, Grand Prix winner for Jordan. I first met him back in the 90s when he was a 15-year-old kart racer in the World Kart Championship, the only kart racer wearing Marlboro overalls.
Wow.
Marlboro, yeah. Italy had already picked him up at that stage.
Crazy. Not much of that money around these days.
They're looking then at the Audi train here. This is Duval leading Bononomi. They're running 3rd and 4th at the moment. They're still well in the mix. 17 and 19 seconds respectively off leader Hartley, but they're closing on Mark Lieb, who's only 2.5 seconds ahead. And here's Nick Tandy then. What a good job Nick's doing today.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, here's a replay. That's one of the Ferraris there running really, really wide. That's just out of the S's, I think, before Tête Rouge. But you saw there with Nick Tandy, Mark, he had a decision to make there coming out of the second chicane, the GT car in front of him, and he was accelerating. Of course, he knows he's going to out-accelerate easily that GT car, but he was trying to predict where the Ferrari would go, whether it would stay on the left or go on the right. And of course, he preempted that the car would stay left, which was right, and he didn't lose any time.
Right.
But it just goes to show you, the drivers are just constantly calculating, and they want to get it right all the time.
Yeah, Jeremy's just showing us a tweet from one of our viewers asking what happens if a car uses all its set of tyres before the end of the race. That they're restricted to a number of tyres, as we've said. These are sets of tyres, but they do get 4 joker tyres as well. They're not a set, just 4 single tyres in case of punctures, say very early in a stint. You don't want to throw a whole set away. So maybe that partly answers it, Jeremy, but it's an interesting question. Well done.
Yeah, Chris Wadsworth, that was. Thank you for that. We'll get to messages if we can. We're a bit busy here in the booth, but we'll try and get to the odd message here and there. So thanks, Chris, for that one. And I think the answer you asked, what is they use all their 12 sets of tyres? Well, they basically have to park it because that's all the tyres you've got. It's just as if you didn't have enough fuel to go the distance. You'd have to park the darn thing. So it would be frustrating, but they should be fine on 12 sets of tyres. It shouldn't be too much of a problem.
You just saw the 2 prototypes overtaking Jeroen Bleekemolen there, and Jeroen is so astute, so good at managing traffic. At the exit of the Porsche curves there, he stayed right and went all the way over the white line, 4 wheels off, and that was 100%, I can tell you now, that was to let those 2 cars by, because he has fantastic peripheral vision, and that's just a driver doing a top job.
Crowd just loving this car, just as they're loving the car we were following before that. Patrick Dempsey, of course, Dr. Dreamy.
Yeah. Well, they love the sound of this this Viper.
Oh, it's a huge fan favourite, isn't it? It's great to see the Vipers back in them. Look at the crowd here again. It's still absolutely fantastic.
And that rear wing doesn't even look like it's anything to do with the car, does it?
Yeah.
So high.
Well, that's been raised. Phil Riley told us yesterday that's one of the modifications that they've had to make. They've had to raise that rear wing a little bit.
Yeah, give them a little bit more downforce on the back. They're pretty happy with the way the balance and performance is that car. It's running very, very well, and Jeroen Bleekemolen really turning a series of fast laps in there.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back after these messages as we watch the Viper heading towards the sunset. Not for a while, though.
Ben, all okay?
All okay.
We're back with Eurosport, and we've just seen a big moment for Benoit Trillier, running wider and wider and wider. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see that again, but Lena Gade calling him on the radio saying, "Ben, are you okay?" At that point, I think he was.
I think she meant the car.
Yeah. Yeah, he said okay, but he wasn't terribly convincing, was he, really, with his response? Hopefully we'll get to hear that again.
Yeah, he'll be taking a few deep breaths there, won't he?
Yeah, that car running in 6th place, of course, after having to stop out of sequence because of a puncture, and we've got a
brave Marshall there running across. That's a rear wing that has fallen off. Is that ESM?
It's not off the Viper, luckily, but it's
no.
It did look like ESM, yeah. Yeah, so we're going to have a repeat in a moment of that. Benoit Trillier in the number 7 car then, still pushing on down the chute. And what he went so wide for, we don't know. We have got slow zones.
Very good. Wow, look at that.
How did he hold that?
So coming out of...
Yeah, it's...
Wow. Yeah, it's just on the...
down towards Tete Rouge?
Yes, on the entry to Tete Rouge.
Goodness.
It just looked like he carried a little bit too much apex curb
out of La Chapelle,
then put him out on that exit curb, which just hauled him left and onto that grass, and there was a brush with that barrier. I'll tell you, you do not want to be brushing with that barrier.
It was very quiet on the radio, but Lena was talking. He didn't reply, but he's back in there. So we have got those slow zones at Indianapolis because of that wing, and something else in the road came off, but just having great slow-mo here.
Brilliant. Yeah, and of those Audi lights.
Oh, the other one's gone wrong.
That's
the other Audi.
Oh,
number 8 Audi. Oh, big shunt.
Well, what's happened there? Loic Duval on board. He's going to get the car home because Audi always do, but what happened there? Must have been a traffic issue.
Wow, that's both front and rear. Substantial looking damage done there. He's still rolling, so that's good. All 4 corners seem to be on it. It's just before Indianapolis, and there was a whole gaggle of cars, including another 1 or 2 Audis there. Oh, here we go.
Everyone's suddenly slowing, and that caught him out.
You know,
it looks like the Labra Corvette was going very slow.
That's exactly what you were talking about earlier on, Damien, with the Porsche. Nick Tandy ran off the road there to get past a couple of slower cars. What do? You've got to manage it. What do? It's a really tough decision. I mean, the closing speed, you can see it there. It's probably something like 80 miles an hour, and he was committed there. He didn't sort of see far enough ahead of what was going on. I mean, it was, golly, that was a scary incident. Going on the way to Indianapolis, flat out, you're doing well over 200 miles an hour.
And other people are picking up damage. We've got tire debris coming off. That might be off the Audi, of course. Yeah.
But of course, in that you had another couple of GT cars trying to pass that Corvette.
He's still passing GT cars, even the car in this state.
Yeah.
Just passed 2 Ferraris. He's not...
you can...
Slow down.
Yeah, they did. Everybody did slow down. He said sorry there, but you know, he was just really unfortunate there, Damien.
Yeah, just that's circumstantial, and that's what happens here at Le Mans. It just can bite you like that. Hopefully, they can get this car in, get it fully serviced, get it fixed up, and get it back out again. It's going to lose a bit of time, obviously, but yeah, that was just circumstantial, and there was really little he could do there. And he's saying sorry because he's not fully sure what happened yet, because everything happens so fast. So the team will actually probably have more information than he will about what happened with the replays.
Loic missed this race last year because of his huge accident at Porsche Curves in practice, and here he is again. That car definitely going to be out of any contention for the win, but Audi will have it running again in minutes. Yeah,
bits and bits of Audi all over the place. That was a heavy impact, but incredible, really. He's able to drive it back to the speed. I mean, he crashed at 200 miles an hour. Yeah. And look, all 4 wheels are still on the car.
This is what happened to Mike. This is what happened to Mike Rockenfeller, although nobody saw it.
Yeah, well, Mike's was an even bigger accident than this one.
Well, that's no surprise.
Change the nose and tail. If they can get away with just changing the nose and tail, that would be absolutely ridiculous.
So we've got slow zones again. That is all through the Indianapolis section, all the way from 23 to the exit of Anage Corner, and race.
You could see
a little bit by that, but
his teammate just giving him a good old pat in the back there.
What happened to Mark Lieb on that lap? Was he involved? No, he can't have been involved in that, because all of a sudden here we've got Marco Bononomi up into 2nd place and Mark Lieb back into 3rd, so and about 5 seconds behind, and on a previous lap Lead was about a couple of seconds behind him, so a big swing there on that last lap. Mark Lieb, don't know whether he was involved in some sort of an incident of his own, but a very dramatic lap there, lap 46 that was, as we see the car that was running in third place onto pit lane.
And when in doubt, clean the windscreen, Damien. That's
Yeah, well, you know, there's a guy for every job. Look at the size of the new nose coming on, both with wheel covers as well, lights, everything intact there. So within minutes, you're going to see.
We've got cars passing under yellows here. What is going on? That P2 car going past that Ferrari, that was not good, especially in one of these new slow zones.
Already see there's a new set of tyres on it.
Yeah.
There's a new driver in it. I think they'll have fueled it first, Jeremy. Did they fuel it before they put it in the garage?
I didn't see whether they did or not.
I think they did. I think that was the delay when they came in. There was a delay before they put it on the.
I didn't see, but certainly Loic Duval had been in the car since the start of the race, so almost 3 hours that Loic Duval had been at the wheel.
They're already preparing.
Are you kidding me?
They're
putting that already.
That's phenomenally fast. Great turnaround.
That's absurd. I mean, it's that hard, and all they have to do is change the bodywork. You've got to be joking.
The old days, of course, you know, you'd have the scrutineers in there checking it all over before you're allowed out again. That doesn't happen now.
Well, you know, it does if there's what's deemed a major incident, and apparently this isn't deemed a major incident. It's not by
just a flesh wound.
Audi Sport Team Yost.
It's never finished until a bit of duct tape goes on, is it?
No. They have to get the right colour one.
They even got the right colour.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Silver. Well spotted, Mark. The white looked a bit tacky, didn't it?
Yeah, what's happening there? They're concerned probably about the fixtures, so they're taping it on as a sort of belt and braces as well, aren't they, for the body?
Yeah, that part that half of that tape is going on to is not part of that nose.
Yeah.
And you could see it when they took the other one off that it was already damaged. So it's a part that's not easily. Right,
they got the car
replaced. Look at that! What a turnaround!
Typical Audi job.
That's ridiculous.
And they still haven't cleared the track where he went off, and he's just about to rejoin.
He's not even going to lose a lap.
He's gone.
That's unbelievable. That's absolutely unbelievable.
So they'll go out there. He'll shake it down. The engineer will be on the radio and ask him if everything feels okay. He'll give it a bit of a shake. He'll press the brakes. He'll take his hands off the steering wheel to see if it pulls to either side, checking it out to make sure mechanically it's okay.
We have a safety car now, guys. He did make a hole in the guardrail, and that's going to take some repairing.
Yeah, boy, that's I think a stroke of good fortune there for Luca Di Grassi. He might have lost a lap. Yeah, he probably has lost a lap. But even so, amazing.
But when you saw that accident, Jeremy...
Man.
We have to say Loic was absolutely blameless in that, because he just literally had nowhere to go. There were cars slowing in front of him, and he'll feel terrible about this. But, you know, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, and there it was again. You could see Mark Lieb in the Porsche was weaving over and back because he's like, guys, where do I go? He was fully.
Okay. So that's where that change of position happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It was completely unsighted. It was up the road a bit. Mark Lieb was already in it earlier on. And so Mark Lieb was actually trapped.
This is on board with Bononomi.
And he was swinging over and back because the GT cars weren't sure what to do. They were trying to get out of the way of the P1s. And, yeah, that was really, really unfortunate for the number 8 Audi. You can see him there being consoled by the team. They know he didn't really do anything wrong as such.
No, just a really unfortunate circumstance. I mean, with that many cars and they're all dicing amongst themselves, and the track's not very wide there, Damien Faulkner, is it?
No, well, you know, it's a normal...
Information in the pit lane. I have to repair guardrails. I have to send heavy trucks and machinery to the area where the impact was.
Yeah, we just heard from race director there. and he's got to send some heavy machinery to repair the guardrail. But yeah, it's to answer your question, Jeremy, I mean, it's the road that they normally, and there's a good shot of it really, they use is everything there but the hard shoulder. He was aiming to use a hard shoulder, I think, because the whole road was blocked, but it all happened so quickly.
Yeah.
I think Mark Lieb in the number 18 was very, very lucky to come through that unscathed.
Yeah, he did a good job. He did.
He certainly did a good job
through and made sure he wasn't involved. His first priority was not trying to pass anybody or make any ground up, just to make sure he avoided all that debris and spinning cars.
I think it's just circumstantial as to when he arrived, and he probably got a better view of it because there was fewer cars because he was in between them.
Yep.
But yeah, that's very unfortunate.
And Marco Bononomi was right behind those two as well. He was just able to pick his way through. So we were under safety car here at Le Mans, and we're going to take a short break here on Eurosport.
Do you think the Audi was a legal thing, what they did, or they...
Yes, he passed it. He passed the safety car light, and then the safety car came out.
Copy that.
The Porsche was behind me. Yeah, anyway, good job. I was good the overtake.
We're live at Le Mans on Eurosport. Mark Cole, Damien Faulkner and Jeremy Shaw covering what's been a major incident in the race. It's not a major incident for Audi, it's a flesh wound for them, but they have punched a hole in the barrier on the run down to Indianapolis, not far from where Mike Rockenfeller went off a few years ago. And a very, very frightening accident there, triggered by a whole gaggle of cars, one of which suddenly slowed in the middle. We think it was a GT car. LMP2 cars had to take avoiding action. Just at the moment that Loic Duval arrived on the scene, as Jeremy said, at close to 200 miles an hour.
And isn't it unfortunate unfortunate that they can't fix the barrier as quickly as Audi could fix the perpetrator.
Very good point, I think, Damien. It's remarkable to me that with that strong of an impact, that there wouldn't be more damage to that Audi R18 e-tron Quattro, because to get it back out in the fray there, the pit stop was a total of 4 minutes, so 3 minutes longer than scheduled.
To repair the back of it, to repair the front of it, change drivers.
Unbelievable.
Tyres, everything. It's had a full service.
Now, who else was involved? One could perhaps argue that Loic perhaps didn't. The reason he apologised is because it's up to the driver. He's the guy who's driving the car. He has to anticipate what's going on ahead of him. I think we're saying he's blameless, and yeah, he was certainly extraordinarily unlucky. I don't think he really necessarily did anything wrong, but. And it's awfully difficult when there's that many cars. I mean, it wasn't as if it was 1 or 2 cars. It was half a dozen cars in front of him going different speeds, and we think there might have been one of them with a problem as well. So it just compounded the problem that was faced there by Loic Duval. So really, really unfortunate. I'm wondering whether one of those cars was Nicky Tim, because our former leader in GTE Pro was at number 95 Aston Martin, and he has made a pretty lengthy pit stop. Whether was he involved in that, I didn't really notice, honestly. I think he might have been, however.
Didn't actually see, but like you say, it was the closing speed was phenomenal. I mean, you had Mark Lieb sitting right in behind, like ducking over and back, and then Loic Duval came flying, and Bononomi, and then.
So here now, so although they're behind safety cars, Tommy Milner is our race leader in GT Pro. So
yeah, because he has not yet made his next pit stop. Going to go down to the pit lane.
You're just getting out of the car. We saw some incident just a few minutes ago. How are the conditions out there?
Yeah, it's quite slippery. We have seen quite a bit of yellow flags and slow zones now, a safety car. So it's slippery out there. Track is pretty green, so it's quite difficult to switch the tires on and find a grip. But we did just a triple stint, and the tires last, so it's very positive.
As expected, the battle is very tight. What is your strategy? What is the plan?
Yeah, at the moment, I think the top 4 GT Pros are very close together. We were all the time within the top 3, top 4, which is very positive. It's a 24-hour race, and I'm sure our performance will get better. So it's a great fight out there. It's very close, as you said, and yeah, it was really enjoyable.
In front of the race, also with the LMP1, the Porsche and the Audi, the battle is very close. How is it to manage the traffic?
Yeah, traffic isn't really a problem for us. The prototypes this year are so fast, they pass it so quick, so it's not a problem at all for us.
Thank you.
Stefan Mucker there, their car at the moment was just a moment ago running in 2nd place, but of course cycling through pit stops in GT Pro and GT Am and indeed LMP2, and up front at the moment it's still Tommy Milner, but as Jeremy pointed out, he has made only 2 pit stops in this race so far. This could take a long time, and I guess teams will be checking to see how long they've got, make the pit stop, get out. But as Jeremy has pointed out also, the problem is you come out behind a different safety car chain if you make a pit stop during this period. Very weird sight, seeing both your front wings suddenly appearing in front of you and bouncing down the road.
Yeah, and you could just hear him going down the gears there, trying to.
Yeah, he did react, didn't he? He managed to get some speed off a little bit.
Yeah, I got quite a lot of speed off, but when you're doing well over 200 miles an hour, even if you can scrub off 70 or 80 miles an hour, you're still going to hit the fence at about 150, which isn't a lot of fun, I wouldn't imagine.
You can see there the team are consoling him. He's obviously, feels really bad, whether it was his fault or not his fault at this point. He just feels bad for the team because, they've had to come in and repair the car, and they've lost some time as a result.
Yeah, this is going to be a fairly lengthy repair here, and one thing we haven't perhaps talked about so far, Mark Cole, is the fact that there was a potential here for a distance record, an all-time distance record for Le Mans 24-hour race. So this is going to be a lengthy cleanup. So, often in the past there have been full course cautions, and that of course slows the average speed dramatically. But whether this will negate that opportunity, it's pretty too early to say. But
it is our second full call.
Yes, the first one was pretty short. Yeah. But this one is going to be a lot longer, and I think it's going to take away an opportunity for that new race distance record.
You see, they've got to get that straight.
Look how hard they're working.
They've got to get that straight again now. You can't leave that kink in it. And that is going to take time, as you say. So Brendan Hartley is our race leader at the moment from Mark Lieb and Nick Tandy. It's a Porsche 1, 2, 3. They've all had 3 stops, but Audi, Benoit Trullier and Felipe Albuquerque have had 4 stops, and they will be better fueled up, fresher tired when the race restarts. Ant Davidson and Stefan Sarazan for Toyota in 6th and 7th, and Luca Grassi in the other Audi in 8th place. Our P2 leader Nick Lapierre in the KCMG car, which Richard Bradley starred in qualifying, put it on pole, and Nick Lapierre continuing that good work just ahead of Luca Bardi. And it's Tommy Milner, as we saw, leading pro, but he's owed a he owes us a pit stop at the moment, which should put Fernando Reis back in the lead, and Jeroen Bleekemolen in the Viper, which everyone's delighted to see leading pro GTM.
Yeah, that as you say, the Corvette there due a pit stop. He's 1 safety car length ahead of the rest of the field. And what I mean by that, we've got 3 safety cars here on this 8.4 mile lap. Here is Tommy Milner now onto pit lane in car number 64, that bright yellow Corvette C7R, and there's a big gap on the racetrack between each of the safety cars, but he will not be, even if he can complete his service now, he will not be allowed to rejoin the racetrack at the end of pit lane until the next safety car has gone past the pit exit. So then he will drop in behind all the cars in that queue. So that will put him back to, I think, probably the 6th place in the class. No, probably not actually, but perhaps just 4th place, because I think Giancarlo Fisichella and Michael Christensen, number 51 Ferrari, and Michael Christensen, number 91 Porsche, the remaining Porsche, are also separated by a safety car period as well, I think. By a safety car gap, let's say.
Yeah, no, just you mentioned earlier about how long Duval's car was in the pits, 4 minutes and 12 seconds. And one of the things about they said we changed the front end, rear end and engine cover. The thing about the front end, they build so much strength into the front ends now that it's almost crash boxes in themselves. And if you damage it, you just throw it away and put the new one on. And quite often in the race, they will change the front end as a matter of course, perhaps for different lights or to get better aero at night.
Well, that's the thing, and the emphasis is not just on making it pretty looking or having good performance. There's obviously also a lot of emphasis placed on, you know, events like this where, you know, it hits something, and so they have to be of a certain strength, and that's a testament to that car, as Jeremy alluded to.
And we just saw a glimpse there before we were watching the work proceeding on the side of the racetrack. There was a glimpse before that of the number 64 Corvette parked at the end of the pit lane. Here's one of the Nissans making a pit stop as well. You can see to his left, perhaps. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of the Corvette. Yeah, there is the Corvette. And you see he's been held there at pit exit, and they're waiting for the next safety car to come around. As I say, 3 safety cars around this racetrack. Behind each one will be a bunch of racing cars. And Tommy Milner will have to wait until the next safety car comes past, and then tuck in behind it and the queue of cars that are there in that train. I think there's going to be 2 or perhaps 3 other GTE Pro cars.
Yeah, the 22 Nissan we just saw, it's had to make a brief visit to the garage to change the rear light assembly. That's what happened there. Michael Krum shown on our screens on board, but Jan Mardenborough shown on the caption, so maybe they have changed drivers at the same time. Rebellion still running well. This is the 12 car, the one that wasn't involved in that incident earlier on. Nick Heidfeld on board. Absolutely glorious colour.
Yeah, and the leader, Brendan Hartley, here got a big break, because Mark Lieb and Nick Tandy and Benoit Trullier in car number 7. So the 18 and 19 Porsches, Lieb and Tandy, number 7 Audi of Benoit Trullier, are all held up by the next safety car that's out on the racetrack. So they're going to be, but Brendan Hartley is going to have a big lead unless he has a need to make a pit stop, which I don't think he does when we go back to green. In fact, he doesn't, because Brendan Hartley last made a pit stop on lap 40. He did about 8 laps under caution. He can certainly stay out for quite a bit longer, because the cars use very little fuel when they're running behind the safety car.
So Nicky Tim's car still being worked on. It's been in there quite a while now, hasn't it? It's all in the engine bay.
That was the leader in GTE Pro pretty much from the start of the race. Very early on, lap 5, they took the lead.
He's gone 3 laps down now, and they're still working on it. And you remember last year, Stuart Hall telling us that one of the Achilles heels of the Astons is all to do with the steering system and loss of fluid from it. And one just wonders if that's what they're looking at. We don't know, but we're just...
Well, surely if that's a mechanical issue, they would have had that sorted in the year that we haven't been here.
Welcome back. Jeremy Shaw with you at Le Mans alongside Sam Hancock is joining us now. Mark Cole is going to take a bit of a break. Damien Faulkner is still here, but might be taking a break as well. You've missed nothing. We're still under the safety car because of that damage to the barriers caused by that huge off by Loic Duval in the Audi car number 8. And I'm sure we'll get a replay of that in due course. Just in the meantime, maybe run through a quick couple of Twitter messages here. Roy Fully sent us a note saying Audi is easily matching Porsche race pace and seemed quicker.
What happened on that first time lap through Tertre Rouge? I got touched a little bit on the exit of Ezel-en-Forêt, and then I make oversteer and went into the grass. So I tried to not stay absolutely on the track to do not spin, and then I went close to lose the car. But everything was fine at the end. Sorry, guys.
So if you couldn't hear us there, that was Lena Gade asking Andre Lotterer what happened there when he went off the road, and
Benoit Trillier. It was Benoit Trillier at the wheel.
Oh, it's Benoit Trillier. I beg your pardon. Yeah, he took it over from Lotterer.
Yeah, and huge moment there. I quite like his frankness. He basically just said I was pushing hard. But it was interesting. I looked at the timing screens at that moment, and he had just recorded a 3-minute 20 lap, which was among the very fastest at the time of the leading pack and among some of the faster laps of the race so far. So he was obviously pushing.
Yeah, someone's just tweeted as well, and to suggest that there was a yellow flag. They thought they could see a yellow flag. They thought maybe for that Corvette that led to that accident. And I think you might be right. I thought, did you see a yellow flag? Did you see the incident, Sam, or was it
with Loic Duval?
Yeah.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I just heard a really interesting interview with Loic. I don't know if you guys got it, so please stop me if I'm telling you something that you've already talked about.
We haven't seen it.
He said that he was told on that lap that there was a slow zone in action down at that part of the circuit on the run towards Indianapolis, but then that it had cleared. When he came out of Mulsanne, he was told by his engineer on the radio that it was green, that the situation had cleared. He then saw what, I don't know if you guys, but I saw on the TV, green flags being waved by the marshals. So he floored it. Meanwhile, the electronically controlled yellow slow zone had yet to actually be cleared. So you've got green flag waving marshals with electronic yellow slow zone still in action. The GT cars at the front responding to the yellow slow zone and staying at the lower speed of 80 kilometers an hour, I think it is. And meanwhile, Audi, who are obviously absolutely on it, trying to maximize everything, giving their drivers as much ahead advanced information as possible on the radio early to Loic, saying green flag, go for it. He visually sees them, he floors it. Yeah. It's understandable, but it's extremely worrying for this slow zone concept.
Okay, so that's the number 18, Mark Lee, being told if we box, there'll be a driver change. I think I heard that correctly, is that right?
You did, yeah.
But yeah, that is worrying, and that might explain it as well. There seemed to be a lot of confusion. There was a gaggle of cars taking up practically the whole road, but I don't think the hard shoulder. But Mark Lee was tucked in behind the two of them, darting over and back, going, where will I go? At their speed, I must add.
He would have been close enough to see them and slow down enough in time.
What I was trying
there was
to explain
a big
earlier.
gap back to Loic, and he was coming in at full tilt. And that stretch from Mulsanne to Indianapolis is punctuated by two shallow kinks that are easy flat, but they eliminate the possibility to see through them and see what's on the other side. And where the incident happened was after the second of those two. It's actually one of the very highest speed points on the whole lap, if not the highest, I think.
Yeah, depending on the wind direction, certainly. That's exactly right. We talked about that a little bit earlier on. It's very interesting that it depends on where the wind blowing off and down to Indianapolis is the fastest part on the course. In qualifying both days, on Wednesday and Thursday, it was actually the first part of the Mulsanne corner out of Tête Rouge up to the first chicane that was actually the fastest point on everybody's, all the telemetry I've seen from various different cars. But and for the overall leaders, that's about 212 miles an hour, or 341 kilometers. In GT cars, the Corvettes were the quickest there at 185 miles an hour.
Have you guys been talking at all about, have you sort of shared any thoughts on the slow zone concept in general? We've just seen the flip side. We've also seen so many of its positive advantages of running that system. And we're just looking at the...
two things we're looking at, actually. First of all, number 95, Aston Martin, coming out of the garage. And secondly, work seems to be pretty much completed out there on the barriers before Indianapolis. We haven't yet heard from our race director, but they've done a really, really good job down there on those barrier works.
Well, they know what they're doing. They've seen their fair share of accidents down at that part of the circuit in recent years.
Yeah, and even this week they've had a fair amount of practice in changing sections of barriers. We've had a lot of offs during the week, and each time there have to be barrier repairs made. We've heard that we saw that the number 95 Aston Martin had some problems. It's been in the pit lane for quite a long time, but it now has rejoined the fray. It was the leader in GTE Pro for pretty much most of the race. But we're going to go down to the pit lane now and hear from Christopher Nygaard, who is one of the drivers of that number 95 Aston Martin.
The car just restarted after a long stop. Can you tell us a bit more?
Yeah, saying we had a small issue with the power steering, so Nicky was complaining that we had some issues with it, and he tried to stretch it as long as possible, but we obviously had a problem, so we needed to take it in the box. Luckily for us, there was a safety car, so it didn't cost us that much, but it's still a pretty big setback, so yeah, we'll see what happens.
We saw quite a lot of incidents so far. It was nothing about the previous incident with car number 8.
No, it was nothing to do with anything on track as far as we know, but they still have to look into it, so yeah, we'll see. At the moment it's just power steering as far as we know, but we don't know what caused it.
Okay, thank you.
So that was the incident there from Christopher Nygaard, and explaining what the difficulty was in the Aston Martin. I couldn't hear it, Sam. Did you hear what Christopher was saying?
No, I'm afraid I couldn't, and actually my eye was distracted by a Porsche that was spinning, and we got another Porsche. Is that the Patrick Dempsey
Yes, it is.
car? Smoking away on the Mulsanne straight.
Alcabese, it's the number 88.
It's the sister car. The sister car.
Oh, it is. It's Christian Reed, who was running in second place in GTE AM. Boy, what a shame for Christopher Reed.
We just got it on. Oh, there's a slow-mo of it now. Wow.
Wow,
big on
similar
fire.
thing.
That's
Yeah, very much like the other Porsche.
Yeah,
it looks very similar. Sad to say, for Porsche, they won't like to see this. It doesn't bode well, actually.
We just got to look at the, I think it's number 19, Nick Tandy, coming into the pits under the safety car, but when he went through the little chicane to slow you down before the pit lane speed limit, he gave it a bit of gas and almost actually lost it, got well sideways, collected it, and went in and made a driver change.
Controversial thought for you. Is that the third Porsche we've seen woof up for the same reason? Certainly. Including Alex Capadia in qualifying?
Yeah.
Woof up in the same way, possibly for the same reason.
Yeah, the Alex Capadia's car, that was a 997 version Porsche, so slightly earlier Porsche, but yes, it's certainly a very similar engine, if not identical, and yeah, that looks fairly terminal, but certainly there's three big flameouts now this week in the Porsches. That's really, really unusual.
Here we see the start of the incident. You just saw all the oil chuck itself. We've got exactly almost a mirror version of the earlier Porsche engine fire, where it was on the way into the first chicane, a few hundred meters back up the road there, and now coming into the second chicane, same thing.
And that was right in front of Paul Dalla in the number 98 Aston Martin that's running second in the GTE class now, because he's just passed the car that was running second, which was Christian Reed. So, yikes, we've had some fairly high attrition here, and that car certainly isn't going to go any further today. You can see where it is.
Jeremy, I don't know if I should mention this, but we had a couple of Porsche engine failures this year in America.
That's what I'm saying. I said it a little while ago.
At Sebring. Oh, you did. I was sleeping, obviously, at that point. But yeah, so that's obviously a worry, isn't it? And it's very, very early in the race. Porsches are absolutely normally bulletproof.
Exactly, yeah, they really are. That's what they're known for. You know, they've been racing here successfully for decades in all the different classes, and the reason that they're so well represented, especially by privateer GT classes, is because they provide this unbelievable turnkey reliability, whereas a privateer team, you just go along, write your check, take a car away, and if you get the entry, you're racing at Le Mans in something that is probably going to get to the finish unless you do something yourself behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's two veteran teams there, Pro Speed and Proton Racing, both having problems early stages of this race. So still under caution here at the Le Mans 24 Hours. We're going to take another quick break and take advantage. You will miss nothing.